So I'm sure you're able to see my screen, and in this is the document which is of 95 pages. 95 पेज का ये डॉक्यूमेंट है और इस डॉक्यूमेंट को हम बोलते हैं हैंडबुक. हैंडबुक this handbook is of December 2024 version 7 and it's a public document, so there is no copyright thing. अच्छा, why understanding handbook is important? So handbook क्या होता है? Handbook is like a official document on which they will mark you based on the criteria, and you also know that criteria very well. So it's like your course curriculum. Understanding this handbook will clear a lot of your doubts. And in fact, if you go for any kind of coachings or training centers and stuff, वो जो भी sorry, जो भी coaching or जो भी trainers जो they are going to cover is everything which is written in this handbook. And जो आपका exam होगा, it is nothing but the coverage of everything which is written in this handbook. So handbook is your sacrosanct official document or the Bible for language cert examination. So if you see, part 1 says language cert academic and language cert general qualifications. 1.1 is purpose of the language cert academic qualification handbook, language cert systems, introduction to language cert academic, qualification titles, alignment of language cert to the CEFR, can do level descriptors, overview of scoring, qualification format and features of language cert academic. That's the second. Okay. 2 is all about syllabus, which is preliminary level A1, access level A2, achiever level B1, communicator level B2, and expert C1, mastery C2, and grammar. Syllabus. So if, as I mentioned in previous of my discussions, when you are going for language cert examination, what I have seen, what I have observed, that let's say your institution has mentioned that they are looking for B2 level of proficiency. So when you book your examination, you will get an opportunity to block B2, B1, A1, A2 depending upon your requirements. So the respective courses available here in this handbook. For example, if your institution says B2, then you must know what is falling under B2 communicator level syllabus, so that you can prepare yourself accordingly. Overview of assessments, access arrangements, and appendix. Let's go through it one by one. This is 7th edition, as I mentioned, which was updated in December 2024. So I think this is the, as far as I know, this is the latest. Okay, we all know what language cert is. Let's skip this. And okay, this is important. Language cert system LS. If you see, language cert general, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. CEFR level is A2 is wastage. Equivalent UK levels is entry 2. B1 is breakthrough. I'm sure you are able to see my mouse. Give me a second. Yeah. If you see, A1 is entry 2 as compared to equivalency in UK. B1 breakthrough is entry 3. B2 vantage is level 1. And C1 is effective operational proficiency, which is level 2. Normally, I have seen everyone is looking for at least B2, which is vantage, which is level 1 in UK. Similarly, for academics, B1 is breakthrough, entry 3. B2 is vantage, level 1. C1 is operational proficiency, level 2. And C2 is mastery, level 3. Normally for academics, I have seen institutions asking for B2 vantage level. So depending upon your institution and its requirement, you can choose which one to go for. Now, language cert academic, language cert general, what is the difference? So as I mentioned that academic is for academic study at undergraduate, postgraduate, and professional levels. For LanguageCert General, it is for candidates seeking to migrate for work or vocational purposes. Test content is tailored to those wanting to live, work, study, or train in an English speaking context. So, as I said, it purely depends upon the course for which you are going for, as well as what your institution is asking for. So, please pay attention to it and book only that certification which is required by your institution and by your employer. Okay, introduction to LanguageCert Academic. The qualification is suitable for non-native speakers of English who are 17 years of age or older, wish to acquire an internationally recognized certification of their language, of their English language competency, and wish to undertake an undergraduate or postgraduate course of study at an English speaking university or college and require evidence of their English proficiency. All right, and then universities and colleges that need to establish the English language level of students to evaluate their ability. जिस भी इंस्टीट्यूशन में आप दाखिला लेने जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि वहाँ पे सारी पढ़ाई इंग्लिश में होगी, इसलिए दे एक्सपेक्ट कि आपको एक सर्टेन लेवल ऑफ इंग्लिश प्रोफिशिएंसी है. इसके लिए this is required, and it depends from institution to institution. There are A+ level of institutions who ask for 8+ band in IELTS or C1 or C2 in LanguageCert, and there are institutions who may be okay with 6.5 or 7 band in IELTS or a B2 or B2 in the LanguageCert. It purely depends. And third is employers who wish to identify the English language level of their applicants require an internationally recognized certification as part of their hiring process. So कुछ organizations ऐसी होती हैं corporate organizations, उसमें ये requirement होती है कि if you are hiring someone from a non English speaking country, in that the employee should have a minimum level of English proficiency so that he or she can perform their duties satisfactorily. So in उस केस में भी LanguageCert required होता है. Okay, pricing can be found on the website. RPLS, recognition of prior learning, is not applicable to LanguageCert Academic. Okay, let's understand this, which is yeah. So if you're going for A1 entry level kind of thing, as per study, they say at least 95 hours of guided learning hours is required and total qualification time should be 200. If you're going for A2, if you're targeting for A2 entry 2, at least guiding learning hours of 95 and total qualification time of 200 is required. ये वो टाइम है, इस टाइम में आप प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं इस चीज़ की और इस टाइम में आपको ट्रेनिंग दी जा रही है. सो 95 hours of guided training and then your practice hours will give you this total 200 hours. So it is by study that at least if you are going for B2 level 1, guided learning hours of 180 hours and total qualification time of 300 hours is required. And please understand this ranges from person to person, hence they have mentioned that please note that the above figures are estimates of numbers of hours as a learner is reasonably likely to undertake with reference to each respective. हर किसी के लिए थोड़ा सा variations आ सकती है, but in general this is what they have mentioned. Okay, and now comes the qualification titles. If you see, for Achiever B1, it is LanguageCert entry level certification in ESOL International Entry 3 Listening, Reading, Writing, Speaking, and LanguageCert Academic B1. For Communicator B2, it is level 1 certificate in ESOL International and Academic B2, and this is the qualification of equal qualification number, and then C1 and C2. right. This I have already explained in some other video, but because it has come again, I'll explain. The language search says if you are falling, if your marks are between 90 to 100, you are given a band of C2. In academic, it is 90 plus. If you are falling into the bracket of 75 to 89, you are given CEFR band C1. Language search general is 75 plus. Academic is 75 to 89. 60-74 is B2. Language search general is 60-74 and language search academic is also 60-74. For 40 to 59, the marks you have scored in the examination, you will be given a band or a code of CEFR B1 in language cert. Total marks in academic in general is 40 to 59. In academics, it is again 40 to 59. So what matters is this. आपको इस मार्क्स में किस ब्रैकेट में आप फॉल कर रहे हैं उसके हिसाब से आपको कोडिंग मिलेगी, और इसका रिस्पेक्टिव कोडिंग इन आइल्स क्या होगा ये भी मैंने एक सेपरेट वीडियो में मेंशन किया हुआ है. आई थिंक यू कैन हैव अ लुक एट इट. ओके, नाउ कम डाउन, जस्ट अ सेकंड. Okay, if you see B1 achiever level, what they are expecting is B1 achiever level can understand, the descriptor says, can understand the main points of clear standard speech on familiar matters regularly encountered in work, school, leisure, etc. Point number 2 says, can understand the main point of many radio or TV programs on current affairs or topics of personal or professional interest when the delivery is relatively slow and clear. Point number 3 says, can understand texts that consist mainly of high frequency, everyday or job related language. Fourth point is, can understand the description of events, feelings and wishes in personal letters. Point number 5 says, can produce simple connected text on topics which are familiar or of personal interest. And last is, can describe experiences and events, dreams, hopes and ambitions, and briefly give reasons and explanations for opinions and plans. So this is what is expected from B1 if you are targeting for B1 band. Now let's understand this B2. B2 says communicator level CEFR code is B2. The expectation from you as a candidate is, if you are targeting for B2 or if you have got B2, it means that you can understand extended speech and lectures and follow even complex lines of argument provided the topic is reasonably familiar. Can understand most TV news and current affairs programs and the majority of films in standard dialect. Can understand standard spoken language, live or broadcast, on both familiar and unfamiliar topics normally encountered in personal, social, academic or vocational life. Next one says, can follow the essentials of lectures, talks and reports and other forms of academic professional presentation which are propositionally and linguistically complex. Can read articles and reports concerned with temporary problems in which the writers adapt particular attitudes or viewpoints, and then can use the language fluently, accurately, and effectively on a wide range of general, academic, vocational, or leisure topics, marking clearly the relationships between ideas. And last is, can communicate spontaneously with good grammatical control without much sign of having to restrict what he/she wants to say, adopting a level of formality appropriate to the circumstances. This is what is expected out of B2. Similarly, they have very clear demarcations of C1, what they are looking for in C1 and what they are looking for in C2. So I'll explain for C1. one by one. For C1, which is expert level, and the code is CEFR C1, the expectation is can understand extended speech even when it is not clearly structured and when relationships are openly implied and not signaled explicitly. Can use long and complex factual and literary text, appreciating distinctions of style. Can understand specialized articles and longer technical instructions relevant to various fields. And then can understand a wide range of demanding longer text and recognize implicit meaning. The next point is can express him, herself fluently and spontaneously without much obvious searching for expressions. Can use language flexibly and effectively for social, academic, and professional purposes. And last is can produce clear, well-structured, detailed text on complex subjects, showing controlled use of organizational patterns, connectors, and cohesive devices. And then comes C2, which is mastery, and the code is CEFR C2. And the expectation is can understand with ease any kind of spoken language, whether live or broadcast, even when delivered at fast native speed, provided there is a familiarity with accent. Can read the ease virtually all forms of written language, including abstract, structurally, or linguistically complex text such as manuals, specialized articles, and literary works. Can express him herself spontaneously, very fluently, and precisely, differentiating finer shades of meaning, even in more complex situations. And then you have overview of scoring again. I think it's a repetition. We have covered this. So qualification format is LanguageCert examination academic is available as a computer-based and a paper-based test. The computer-based test is a default option. Normally that is a default option, and that is what is the basic difference between LanguageCert and IELTS. In IELTS, it has to be pen and paper based. You have to go to the center. However, this is computer based and gives you a lot of flexibility, and you can even block an examination the same day, and the result you can get in 3 to 5 working days, which is not the case in IELTS. Okay, let's understand this. For listening, the test is about 40 minutes. For reading, the test is again about 50 minutes. For writing, the test is for 50 minutes, and for speaking, it is for 14 minutes. So total is 154 minutes examination. As I said, speaking you would be doing separately, and listening, reading, and writing are together. Okay, there are certain advantages which I have already explained now, and also I've prepared a separate video for that. So let's come to this, which is okay. So skill and focus. First is listening. Identify meaning, purpose, and function, and understand speaker relationships context. Listen twice to 7 unfinished conversations in an academic or socio-academic context. Register shifts and use of stress and intonation to indicate attitude included. Format is 1-3 option, multiple choice responses for each conversation to choose the appropriate completion or continuation of the conversation. 7 marks. Listening to understand meaning, intention, viewpoint, argumentation, and speaker relationship. Listen twice to 5 conversations in an academic setting to identify topic, purpose, context, speakers, gist, relationship between speakers, roles, functions, attitudes, feelings, and opinions. 2 3-option multiple choice questions for each conversation. Raw marks is 10. Similarly, listening 3, extract key information from a monologue, synthesize and summarize ideas. Listen twice to a monologue, for example, a lecture, podcast, narrative, presentation, etc., to identify specific factual information. A note, message, pad, or form with 7 gaps, complete the missing information. Raw mark 7. Listening 4, follow a discussion between 3 speakers. Let me maximize. Follow a discussion between 3 speakers. Listen twice to a discussion on an academic issue to identify gist, examples, fact, opinion, contrast, purpose, key ideas, attitudes, cause, and effect. 6 3-option multiple choice questions. Raw mark 6. Then comes reading. Reading 1A is understand the vocabulary used in academic tests. Identify synonyms and use vocabulary in text. 6 sentences, each sentence 20 to 30 words, written in an academic style with one word highlighted. Choose the correct word from a choice of 4 for each sentence to replace the highlighted word without changing the meaning. मतलब सेंटेंस का जो मतलब है वो चेंज नहीं होना चाहिए. जो हाईलाइटेड जो बोल्ड वर्ड होगा उसको रिप्लेस करना है गिवन ऑप्शंस में से सिलेक्ट करके. Important. Reading 1B, understand vocabulary and lexicogrammatically features in academic text. And authentic academic text, 180 words. Choose the correct word from a choice of 3 to fill a gap. Then you have reading 2, which is understand how meaning is built up in discourse and show awareness of text organization and discourse features. An academic text with 6 sentences removed. Example, topic sentence, summarizing sentence, developing idea, emphasizing a point, opinion, contrast, sequence, forward and back reference, transition to new ideas. Choice of 8 sentences to choose from to complete the 6 gaps. Marks is 6. And then you have reading 3, understand the purpose of different text, scan and locate specific information. 4 text, example, reviews, reports, articles, journals, opinion pieces, etc. with a linked theme but with a different purpose. 7 multiple matching questions to identify information from the text. And then comes reading 4, writing 1, which is 150 to 200 words. Marks is 32, and writing 2, which is about 250 words, and again marks is 32. And then comes your speaking part. Speaking 1 is give and spell name, give country of origin, answer up to 5 questions on different topics. Whenever they are asking you which country or which city you're from, do not tell just London or do not tell just Dubai. Explain something about that city. Communicate in real life higher education situations and using a range of functional language to elicit or respond as appropriate to show the ability to use a wide range of language functions and use of register. 2 situations are presented by the interlocutor and candidates are required to respond to and initiate interactions. For example, मैंने मूवीज के लिए टिकट बुक करी है और आप उस मूवी के लिए नहीं आ पाएंगे. So I will start the conversation as, hey, are you coming for the movie today? And you have to start the conversation with the fact that you will not be able to come and what you will say. And then I will respond again. Let's say you respond, hey, thank you so much for reminding, but just wanted to let you know that I've got an important meeting tomorrow and I'll not be able to come. Then I will say, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope if you will be able to manage, that would have been great. Then the other person will again respond, yes, I know, I'm so sorry, I'm feeling so bad about it that I had to cancel it on the last minute, but this is meeting is certainly very important, and I would like to let you know that I would like to make it up for this absence, and let's go for the meeting some time in another week, and stuff like that. So this is how the conversation will flow. Speaking 3, read aloud and answer questions. Read a text aloud and answer questions about the text. And speaking 4 is prepare and deliver a presentation in response to a visual stimulus and answer questions. After 1 minute of preparation time, talk for 2 minutes about a topic provided by the interlocutor and answer follow-up questions. So for example, I as an interlocutor will ask, describe a time, tell me about the time when your family has supported you. So you will be given 1 minute to make your notes, and then you start speaking. Well, my family has been extremely supportive all this while, since but the major incident that I would like to reflect or bring to your notice during this conversation is about when I was extremely sick and I was hospitalized, and etc., 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 or something else that you want to say. Okay, and then this one is about syllabus. Preliminary level A1 listing the candidates will be able to follow carefully. If you see, this is what the syllabus is. Follow carefully and slowly articulated speech, which contains long pauses and repetition to allow the listener to process the information. Follow short conversations in everyday situations on topics concerning self, family, and immediate surroundings, and understand the gist, context, and the relationship between speakers. Understand very simple questions, statements, accounts, narratives, and single step instructions spoken carefully and slowly. Follow short, simple directions and explanations. Identify the function of short utterances and extract key information from conversations to complete a simple task. Then comes the phonological features. The candidates will be able to listen for phonological detail to distinguish between similar words and ranges this. Similarly, for speaking, reading, range, register, text structure, writing, speaking, accuracy, register, fluency, and then comes the for preliminary level 1, personal detail, name, address, date and place of birth, age, sex, marital status. For house, home, and local area, this what they're expecting. For just a second, let me minimize this a little bit. For free time entertainment, what you do, leisure, hobbies, interest. So these kind of topics you can expect. For travel, it is public transport, private transport, traffic, holiday accommodation, luggage, languages, foreign language ability, spelling and the alphabet, and relationships with other relationships, correspondence, behavior, friends. So this is what your course curriculum is. And then let's go to functions. C, topics list for the context, asking for and giving personal information, describing where one lives, asking and answering questions for confirmation, information, and identification. So if you see, this is your context. This is the topic that you are going to expect. Expressing thoughts and feelings again. This is what you can expect, the kind of questions, and this is what is expected that you explain this way. Getting things done. And then comes A2. I'll simply skip all of them, and then I'll discuss in detail about B2, because that is what is most requested and mostly required. So I'm sure my screen is visible, so I'm skipping A2 all, and I'm going to B1. I'm skipping again, and I'm going to B2 because that is most required and most used. However, depending upon your requirements, you can prepare yourself accordingly. Okay, where is B2? So look at this topics. B2 is communicator level. The topics are personal details, if you see personal details, occupation, family, likes and dislikes, physical appearance, first language, and character. This is what kind of personal information you can expect that they will ask for. Or when they are asking anything about personal information, you are expected that you will explain in this way. For house, home, and local area, types of accommodation, interior design, local and regional services, regional geographic features, and local flora and fauna is expected. Daily life at home, at work, income prospects, free time and entertainment, leisure, hobbies and interest, TV, radio, cinema, theater, computer, internet, intellectual, artistic pursuits, sports, press, music, photography, the written word, reading, letter, writing, diaries, etc., exhibitions and museums. For travel, public and private transport, traffic and traffic control, green travel, holidays, accommodation, entering and leaving a country, relations with other people, family relationships, friendships, manners, social conventions, and health and body care, parts of the body, personal comfort, hygiene, ailments, accidents, medical services, shopping facilities, foodstuff, clothes, fashion, household articles, prices, and food and drink, eating habits, sourcing food locally, fast food, organic food, year-round availability, and diets. So this is what the B2 level is expecting you. Okay, let's go down. This is B2. Now, in terms of services, they can expect communications, financial services, emergency services, leisure facilities, care for elderly, IT in the community, beliefs, the paranormal and supernatural, superstitions, unexplained phenomena, example UFO, accidents, coincidence, etc., arts, modern art, theater, places and locations, satellite navigation system, world heritage sites, location for motorways and airports, protecting open spaces, science and technology, scientific development, space explorations, power of the computer, important inventions, society, individual rights, family life, parental responsibilities, social responsibilities, equal opportunities, the language, foreign language ability, accents and dialects, preserving minority languages and bilingualism, weather, climate and weather forecasting, climate change, extreme weather, measures and shapes, statistics and processes, education, schooling, subjects, qualifications and examinations, and the environment, recycling, pollution and global warming. So this is what your course is for B2. Now, personal environment, see topics for context, asking for and giving personal information. What's your name? Where are you from? In which city? Describe where one lives, accommodation, area, etc. Asking and answering questions for confirmation, information, identification, describing people, places, things, correcting information, explaining routines, narrating and describing past, present, and future events, comparing things, people, reporting facts, actions, stating facts, actions, and giving descriptions and specification is what is required. Now, expressing thoughts and feelings and attitudes, expressing and asking about agreement or disagreement, denying something, expressing agreement reluctantly or with reservations, conceding a point of argument, demurring, expressing views and feelings with reasons, asserting and asking about knowledge or ignorance of something or someone, stating whether a person, thing, or action is remembered or forgotten, inquiring of someone else whether a person, thing, or action is remembered or forgotten, stating and asking about degrees of probability, possibility, expressing, denying, or asking about necessity, stating and asking about one's certainty or uncertainty of something, reminding someone to do something, expressing doubt, incredulity, bewilderment, hypothesizing, stating and asking about one's ability or inability to do something, stating and inquiring about one's obligation or lack of to do something, seeking, granting, or denying permission, stating and asking about the permissibility of doing something, and expressing and asking about wishes, hopes, and expectations. If we go further down, and see expressing and asking about wants, desires, needs, stating and asking about intention, stating and responding to and asking about preferences, expressing and asking about likes and dislikes with reasons, expressing and asking about pleasures, displeasures, happiness, unhappiness, expressing and asking about satisfaction or dissatisfaction, etc., etc. will cover your all the artifacts of B2. Making things happen, responding to a request, requesting something or requesting someone to do something, inviting someone to do something, accepting or declining an offer or invitation, giving instructions or orders, giving and asking for advice, responding to or rejecting advice with reasons, warning others to be careful or to stop doing something, offering and requesting assistance, and insisting politely. Then comes the artifacts of social contact, getting someone's attention, greetings people and responding to greetings, expressing thanks, addressing somebody, making and responding to formal and informal introductions, opening, closing a formal and informal conversation, etc. And then similarly you have C1, and then similarly you have all the artifacts of C2. So I'll not invest time in explaining it, because that will take that is just for the instructions, and you can get this document from their website, as well as if I get a chance I'll also attach it for your reference. You can have a look at it. So this is important because when you are going for the examination, you must know which target is required or requested from the institution or the organization, and which one you are trying to achieve. Again, here it is, the grammar expectations of preliminary A1, access A2, and achiever B1 levels. compound, simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences, verbal forms, modals, nouns, pronouns, etc. And then similarly you have the grammar expectations for B2 communicator, expert, and mastery. So normally I've seen, again I'm repeating, normally I've seen that organizations asking for B2 level uh, of expertise. Let's punctuation spellings, verb forms, modals, nouns, pronunciations, articles, determiners, adjectives, adverbs, intensifiers, and last is punctuation and spelling. Again, your CEFR level is, if you are falling between 60 to 74, is your language cert global scale of 60 to 74 will be B2, both for general and academic. So this brings us to the closure of this document. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you next. Thank you.